Hey there guys, it's Sandra D. Had a couple seconds I thought I'd share them with you along with Ginger there. So this week I've been reading a lot about what we're discovering about horses, and you know we have our own little herd here, and it's been fascinating to me reading about the way they build relationships naturally in their herd, and then actually being able to step outside onto my property and watch how they build relationships, and particularly focus on how they set their boundaries. So I want to talk about that just briefly here because we just have a few seconds, and I'm actually going to blog about this later, because when I say boundaries, you may think automatically about your own boundaries, which are extremely valuable. So what I mean by that is the boundaries you set around yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. What are your boundaries? When you get those clear, you're able to take care of yourself. But what we sometimes overlook, especially in a leadership role, is what are the boundaries of others? You see, if we learn to acknowledge the boundaries of other people, we can sometimes avoid major conflict. Conflict at work, at home, even dating. Of course, when you're dating, I think that boundaries are hugely important because you want to keep yourself emotionally, physically safe. But it's the same whenever you're talking about relationships at work and even with family. So, for instance, we have a family member now, an elderly family member, who has set her boundaries for a relationship pretty far out. Like she really doesn't want to engage. And so sometimes it's tough because the others around her would wish those boundaries were different. But in this case, we have to honor her boundaries. And that's what I mean by even people that you work with. What are their boundaries? If they get stepped on and you don't know what they are, that's when you can end up with conflict that could have actually been avoided if we get better at reading what other people's boundaries actually are. So it's interesting when I watch the horses, because every horse, so they are sentient beings, they have a brain of their own, and every one of these horses has a different boundary, even physical boundary. Some of them will stand very close to other horses, and one or two of them really don't like that so much. Some like to be touched, and some only like to be touched in certain places. They have their boundaries, and so do we. So maybe this week, think about where in your life maybe you need to be a little more aware of someone else's boundaries. It's a great way to concentrate on building really healthy relationships. Leave me a comment below. Ginger and I want to know. All right, bye.